We've got an absolutely electric Sunday night football game this weekend, NFL Week 10 between the Raiders and the Jets. And I'm here to give you some DFS plays to lock in for this game. It's going to be really exciting. The only way I can think of to make it even more exciting is to have some player props on the action. So what I'm going to be doing is giving you a 6-leg entry on PrizePicks for this game. You're asking how I found these 6 legs? Well, I used the Daily Grind Fantasy DFS correlation tool for this slip. So before I get into everything, I know everybody's dying for the slip itself. I do have a sneak preview for you. Both quarterbacks, Aiden O'Connell, Zach Wilson, young quarterbacks. We got a rookie versus a third-year pro. He was the 2nd overall pick. You really couldn't ask for a better quarterback matchup. I have both of them to go over their passing yards in this slip. So pull up PrizePicks, add both quarterbacks over passing yards, and you'll get the rest in just a little bit. So the way that the correlation tool works, it gives you player props in one game. So all of these are in the Jets-Raiders game. And it gives you player props that have some sort of correlation with each other, hence the name correlation tool. And what I mean by that is, think about just how stats work for the NFL. If the quarterback throws for a bunch of passing yards, someone's got to catch them. So if the quarterback goes over his passing yards, there would be a positive correlation between the receivers and their over-under passing yards as well. Now, obviously, not every single receiver is going to go over if the quarterback does, but if the quarterback does, the receivers are more likely to as well. That is an example of a positive correlation play. That is exactly how the correlation tool works. It uses math. It literally calculates exactly how correlated the plays are together, and then it combines them in a slip. So just from a logical perspective, it makes a ton of sense to me, right? It makes a ton of sense overall. And don't let me tell you about why it's good. Let's just let the performance speak for itself. So this is tracked since August 18th, so a little under 3 months. If you put 1 unit on every single slip that showed up on the correlation tool, you would be up 561 units. 0.8 units if you want to be exact. That's really good. Now, we don't unit shame here. Whatever your unit size is okay. But even if you have a $10 unit size, which I would say is a little bit lower than the people that I talk to, $10 unit size, you're up $5,600, $5,600 since August 18th if you put 1 unit on every single slip for an ROI of 33.68%. You're not finding ROIs in the 30 percentile anywhere. That is amazing, amazing success. And it makes a ton of sense, specifically when you think about placing them on the DFS platforms. I say it like that because the slip that we are going to lock in on PrizePicks would not have the same level of profitability on FanDuel, on DraftKings. The reason why, if you take a correlated same game parlay on an actual sportsbook, you are getting reduced odds compared to the DFS books. PrizePicks, every single 6-pick option is always going to 25x your money. Every single time, no matter what. It doesn't matter if the plays are positively correlated. It doesn't matter if they're negatively correlated. It doesn't matter if you choose plays in different sports. You're always going to get the same exact payout on PrizePicks, on Underdog, on these DFS platforms. That's not the case with the sportsbooks. FanDuel, DraftKings, they nuke the payout of a same game parlay if the plays do have some sort of positive correlation together. That is amazing, A, that they do that, and B, it just shows the profitability of locking these in on the DFS platforms. So that's my preamble, everything that I wanted to get out of the way before giving you the slip. I do think that understanding the tool, understanding the history of everything is important. Now, you filthy animals, you can get the slip. As I hinted at, Aiden O'Connell, young rookie quarterback, bright future for the Raiders, over 206.5 passing yards. On the Jets side, Zach Wilson, he was the 2nd overall draft pick just 3 years ago, over 207.5 passing yards. And then, as I mentioned, if the quarterbacks go over their passing yards, the positive correlation here is that the receivers go over their receiving yards. In this case, we're taking Devontae Adams over 54.5 receiving yards, and we're taking Garrett Wilson over 64.5 receiving yards. Two absolute stud wide receivers, Devontae Adams, possible potential Hall of Famer. Garrett Wilson, second year in the NFL, already one of the best receivers in the league. Who doesn't want to root for this type of slip? And then guess what? It's a primetime game. Let's bet some punters to go under their total punts. AJ Cole for the Raiders, under 4.5 punts. Thomas Morstead of the Jets, under 4.5 punts. All of these plays have a positive correlation together. If the quarterbacks are passing for a bunch of yards, the receivers are receiving a bunch of yards. If the quarterbacks are having success throwing the ball, that generally means the offense is having success in general, which means that there are less punts overall. Now, I know all the sarcasm aside, Jets Raiders is not going to be a fun game, but all we're doing is we're just relying on math for this slip. 206.5, 207.5, not a ton of passing yards. I know the Jets have broken punt records over the past couple weeks, but the Raiders defense is not that great. And it doesn't matter the matchup, it just matters the math. And all of these plays individually are positive expected value, and they all have a positive correlation together. Now, there are a couple more things that I want to detail. Number one, the correlation score and the profit margin that you see here. Correlation score, so if you can click the icon and it'll define anything that you're looking for. All you really need to know about the correlation score is it calculates exactly how correlated the plays are together on a scale of 1 to 100. The math nerd definition is it's calculating the correlation coefficient between each leg, which the dumbed down version, all you need to know is how correlated is this slip on a scale of 1 to 100. 95.47, it's very, very good. Profit margin is giving you your expected profit, your positive expected value. However phrasing makes the most sense to you, it's all telling you the same thing, exactly how positive, how mathematically profitable is this slip. It takes into account the correlation score, so the higher the correlation score, the higher the profit margin, while also adding up the positive expected value of each leg individually, because not only are these plays correlated together, but individually they're positive expected value as well, which is why you're getting such a high profit margin on these slips, and it's why your ROI is so high as well. These would be good straight up, but because they're all correlated together, it makes it even better. So that's what all this stuff means. The last thing that I want to talk about real quick is the PrizePicks strategy in general. So when you're playing PrizePicks, you're going to want to play 5 and 6 pick flex options. The reason why it's just the best bang for your buck. And I can tell you, if you go to the DFS Optimizer, which is another tool that DGF Fantasy offers, DGF Daily Grind Fantasy, DGF, I didn't need to say F twice, but regardless, it gives you individual player props that are positive expected value. So if you're looking to hammer some NBA tonight, check out the correlation tool. I'm here to talk to you about this specific option here. So if you click plus EV plays, it pulls up every possible option from PrizePicks, from a 2-pick power down to a 6-pick flex. And then in the end, it gives you the odds. And these odds are each leg individually. We see minus 136, minus 144, not that great. Well, then we look at 5 and 6 picks. 5-pick flex, minus 119, 6-pick flex, minus 119. In terms of strictly math and positive expected value, the best bang for your buck is playing 5 and 6-pick options on PrizePicks. Now, the cool thing about the correlation tool is you don't actually need to know why. It just tells you, hey, this is what you should do. But just so you can kind of understand why we're playing 6-pick flexes, that's exactly why, because it is the most mathematically profitable. And there's only one slip here because I filtered specifically for Jets versus Raiders. If I click reset filters, there are 68 slips available currently to lock in. That's amazing. Put one unit on each of these bad boys and you're making a ton of money. You can understand why they're up so many units from the correlation tool. And we see games from college football, good games, Florida versus LSU, Washington State versus Cal, but esports, NBA, college football, soccer, all of these sports are represented on the correlation tool including awesome games like USC versus Oregon. So I definitely recommend checking out the Daily Grind Fantasy correlation tool. Again, up 561 units in just under 3 months of doing this. The results speak for themselves. So make sure to check it out. That's all I got for this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.